sheep are far more than just farm animals with fluffy coats and serene gazes. For centuries, they've been symbols of peace, sacrifice, spirituality, and even wisdom across various cultures. But beneath their calm exterior, these animals hide fascinating secrets and curiosities that go beyond their wool. Did you know, for example, that sheep can recognize human faces and remember them for years? It's true, these animals have surprisingly good memories and are smarter than many people imagine. Despite their seemingly fragile appearance, sheep are quite resilient. They live in various parts of the world, from the icy fields of Scotland to African deserts. Their bodies adapt well to different climates thanks to their wool, which acts as a natural thermal insulator. In the cold, it protects them from freezing. In the heat, it prevents overheating. Additionally, wool easily repels water and dirt. It's no wonder it's one of the oldest textiles used by humanity. Another interesting fact is that sheep have panoramic vision. Their eyes are located on the sides of their heads, giving them a field of view of about 270 to 320 degrees. This means they can see almost everything around them without needing to turn their heads. This evolutionary ability helps the flock protect itself from predators. They can detect dangers even when peacefully grazing. Many people think sheep are solitary animals, but that's far from the truth. They live in groups and are highly social. When separated from the flock, they can even become stressed. They form bonds with other sheep and even with humans, remembering those who treat them well. Studies show they can distinguish facial expressions and recognize familiar voices, which makes them more emotionally complex than many might think. And speaking of emotions, sheep also experience fear, joy, sadness, and even envy. Research reveals they become calmer when they are with trusted companions and can even infect each other with the group's emotional state. This shows their behavior is influenced by their environment and relationships, making living with them even more intriguing. In terms of reproduction, sheep have a well-defined cycle. Females, also called ewes, typically go into heat once a year, and gestation lasts about 5 months. Birth usually occurs in the spring when the weather is more favorable for the lambs. Immediately after birth, a lamb will try to stand and seek its mother's milk. The bond between mother and lamb is very strong, and they recognize each other by scent and sound. Did you know there are over 1,000 breeds of sheep scattered across the world? Some are bred for meat production, others for wool, and some even as pets. Yes, in some regions, sheep are kept as pets. Among the most famous breeds are the Merino, known for its soft and valuable wool, and the Suffolk, a fast-growing English breed primarily used for meat. But it's not all just fluffiness. Sheep also face dangers. Among their biggest enemies are wolves, coyotes, and even wild dogs. This is why many shepherds use trained dogs, such as Maremas or Border Collies, to protect their flocks. These dogs work in partnership with the sheep, creating a relationship of trust that lasts for years. What's more, sheep are even capable of solving small problems. Tests have shown they can learn paths to navigate mazes, recognize symbols, and even learn by observation. This completely debunks the myth that they are dumb animals. In reality, they possess a silent yet highly functional intelligence geared towards group survival. Sheep also play an important environmental role. Controlled grazing helps keep fields clean, reduces the risk of fires, and promotes biodiversity by preventing certain plant species from dominating an area. This demonstrates that these animals are not only useful to humans but also to the planet's ecological balance. Now that you know all these details, you can see that sheep are far more fascinating than they appear at first glance, wouldn't you agree? Even with all this intelligence and sensitivity, sheep still suffer from many stigmas. Many people see them as silly animals simply for following each other, but this behavior has an evolutionary reason. The instinct to move in a group is a defense strategy. When they are together, the chances of a predator attacking decrease, increasing their chances of survival. This is a natural response that has been developed over thousands of years in nature. A fascinating detail about sheep is the role they play in advancing science. Do you remember Dolly the sheep? She was the first mammal successfully cloned from an adult cell in 1996 in Scotland. This experiment revolutionized the field of genetics and paved the way for research in cloning, regenerative medicine, and gene therapy. Dolly proved that sheep are not only part of agricultural history but also of the evolution of modern science. Furthermore, sheep are great contributors to sustainable agriculture. In many crops, they are used as a natural form of weed control. Instead of using pesticides, farmers allow flocks to graze in specific areas, helping to keep the soil clean and simultaneously fertilized. Sheep manure is rich in nutrients and has no strong odor, making it ideal for organic fertilization. Communication among sheep also intrigues many researchers. They emit specific sounds for different situations, such as calling their lambs, warning of dangers, or showing discomfort. Each lamb recognizes its mother's bleat among dozens of other sheep, thanks to a unique combination of sounds and scents. This shows how important the bonds between mother and offspring are for these animals. Sheep's digestive system also deserves mention. They are ruminants, meaning they have a four-compartment stomach: the rumen, reticulum, omasum, and abomasum. This complex process allows them to maximize nutrients from fibrous foods like grass and dry leaves. They regurgitate partially digested food, called cud, to chew it again, ensuring efficient digestion. Regarding lifespan, a sheep's life expectancy varies depending on the breed, the care received, and the environment. On average, they live between 10 and 12 years, although some can exceed 15 years under ideal conditions. During this time, a sheep can produce tens of pounds of wool, in addition to lambs and contributions to the soil and the balance of rural ecosystems. Did you also know that a sheep's wool never stops growing? If a sheep isn't shorn regularly, its wool can grow so long that it compromises its movement, vision, and even its health. A famous example is Shrek the sheep from New Zealand, who escaped for 6 years and accumulated almost 66 pounds of wool on his body. After he was found, his shearing became global news. Shrek's story served as a warning about the regular care these animals need. In religious and cultural contexts, sheep hold strong symbolism. In Christianity, for example, they represent purity, obedience, and sacrifice. Jesus is often called the Lamb of God, a metaphor that reinforces the peaceful and spiritual image of the animal. In other cultures, such as ancient Mesopotamia and Egypt, sheep were also seen as sacred animals important for the survival of tribes. Currently, with advancements in technology and climate change, sheep also face modern challenges. Rising temperatures, loss of grazing areas, and emerging diseases threaten sheep farming in various regions of the planet. For this reason, initiatives for genetic preservation and adaptation of breeds to new climates are being developed by scientists and conscious producers. Interestingly, the curious behavior of sheep also inspires research in robotics and artificial intelligence. Animal behavior researchers use flock movements to create algorithms that simulate collective interactions, such as in drones and autonomous cars. In other words, how a sheep reacts in a group can teach a lot about organized systems and mass decisions. Another rarely discussed aspect is the positive impact sheep can have on human mental health. Animal-assisted therapies, like zootherapy, have incorporated interaction with sheep due to their docility and ability to form affectionate bonds. On some therapeutic farms, people can care for sheep, brush them, feed them, and even talk to them, creating connections that help combat anxiety and depression. Sheep are also gaining ground in the entertainment world. In various countries, artistic shearing competitions, sheep parades, and even sheep races have become popular events, bringing entire communities together. While the well-being of the animals must always be ensured, these activities show how the relationship between humans and sheep can go beyond mere utility. In gastronomy, sheep also play a role. Lamb meat, for example, is highly appreciated in various parts of the world, such as in Arabic, Greek, and Australian cuisine. Sheep's milk, which many people are unaware of, is rich in protein and forms the base for sophisticated cheeses like Roquefort and Pecorino. In some regions, sheep's milk yogurt is also valued for being more digestible than cow's milk. Speaking of breeds, some sheep stand out for their exotic appearance. The Jacob breed, for example, has multiple horns, sometimes up to 6 on a single head. The Valais Blacknose, from Switzerland, is famous for its completely black face and fluffy white body, being considered one of the most photogenic sheep in the world. This has made it a darling on social media. The coexistence between sheep and humans is so ancient that many scholars believe they were one of the first animals domesticated by humans about 10,000 years ago in the Fertile Crescent, a region that today includes parts of Iran, Iraq, Syria, and Turkey. Since then, the partnership has only grown, with sheep providing food, clothing, and companionship for generations of people. Finally, what's most impressive about sheep is their versatility. They are animals that can live in extreme environments, contribute to the environment, assist humans in various aspects, and maintain rich social and emotional relationships. The next time you encounter a sheep, remember, behind that calm gaze lies a world of curiosities, intelligence, and stories that span centuries.